Good afternoon, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Prasar Bharati. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that ongoing military operations in Southern Gaza's Khan Younis will continue for one more month. At COP28, participating nations push for stronger commitment on phasing out fossils. Aiming to incorporate the ideas of the youth in nation building, Viksit Bharat campaign reaches out to the youth. Niti Aayog chairman hails the digital infrastructure of the country at Viksit Bharat Act 2047. And in sports, the first ever Khelo India Para Games begin in New Delhi. Over 1,400 athletes, part of 8-day sporting extravaganza. As Israel-Hamas conflict continues, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the ongoing military operations in Southern Gaza's Khan Younis will continue for one more month, as Israel Defense Forces expanded its ground operations in Gaza to combat Hamas. The move comes after the United States wielded its UN Security Council veto to shield its ally from a demand for a ceasefire. Since a truce collapsed last week, both sides have reported a surge in fighting in the north. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu welcomed the United States veto at the UN Security Council.
I greatly appreciate the correct stance that the US has taken in the United Nations Security Council. The other countries need to understand that on the one hand, it is impossible to support the elimination of Hamas, while on the other hand, calling for a halt to the war which will prevent the elimination of Hamas. Therefore, Israel will continue our just war to eliminate Hamas and achieve the other goals of the war that we have set out.
Israel's military chief also said that Israeli troops must increase pressure on Hamas as their system is showing signs of falling apart.
I see the achievements from day to day. We are seeing every day terrorists who are killed, also terrorists who are injured. In the last days, we see terrorists who are surrendering. A sign of the collapse of the system, a sign that we need to press harder. And this is what you are doing.
The World Health Organization will hold a special session today to discuss the health situation in Gaza and the West Bank, with the Palestinian envoy seeking more medical aid and access for foreign healthcare workers. The UN Health Agency said it has received a request from 15 countries to hold the session. The session is being convened by Director General Tedros Adhanom in consultation with the Qatari chair. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar spoke to Palestinian Prime Minister on Saturday. Jaishankar took to his social media and spoke to Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammad Satyal. He expressed deep concern on the situation in both Gaza and the West Bank, reiterated India's long-standing position on Palestine, agreed to remain in touch. The Philippines has accused China of firing water cannon and ramming its resupply vessels in the South China Sea, with one of its ships suffering serious engine damage. A Coast Guard spokesperson said on the social media post that Chinese Coast Guard water canoed two of its resupply vessels in the South China Sea. Meanwhile, China's Coast Guard said in a statement that two Philippine vessels, ignoring repeated warnings, had illegally entered the waters adjacent to Renai Reef in the Nansha Islands without the approval of the Chinese government. The incident was the second ramming between Philippine and Chinese ships since October in the vicinity of 2nd Thomas Shoal. The collision comes as a Christmas convoy of around 40 Philippine vessels began sailing Sunday to the disputed shoal. The People's Liberation Army of China conducted training exercises in real combat situations in the South China Sea to enhance frontline command and emergency decision-making skills. During the training, the detachment successfully identified and neutralized a simulated enemy airborne target using radar. Besides, the crew effectively engaged a simulated enemy speedboat using machine guns. The training encompassed formation operations, vigilant navigation, comprehensive attack and defense, and precise light weapon shooting, ultimately boosting the troops' readiness for combat missions. China on Sunday launched a new remote sensing satellite into space atop a Long March 2D carrier rocket. The rocket blasted off at 9:58 Beijing time from the Shijiang Satellite Launch Center in southwestern province of Sichuan, sending the Yaogan 39 satellite into present orbit. It was the 500th flight of the Long March series rockets. The Yaogan satellites are designed for including gathering scientific data, conducting land surveys, and monitoring agriculture. Leaders of the Economic Community of West African states will convene in Abuja, Nigeria, to address the recent coups in Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, and Niger. The region grapples with insecurity and conflicts in the Sahel. 4 members, including Mali and Burkina Faso, are suspended over military coups and will not participate in the summit. DD India's correspondent in Abuja, Ajit Mangut, reports more on the proceedings.
ECOWAS leaders last met in an extraordinary summit in August after a July 26 coup in Niger that overthrew the government of Mohamed Bazoum. The regional bloc threatened military intervention as a last resort to restore Bazoum and imposed heavy economic sanctions on the country. It activated a standby force as a last resort while exploring dialogue to restore President Mohamed Bazoum. But the military junta has said it may need up to 3 years for a transition to civilian rule, a move rejected by ECOWAS. Since then, there have been 2 attempts to seize power in Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau. The U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Fee, is expected to hold talks with ECOWAS leaders on how the United States can best support regional efforts to return Niger to a democratic path and to promote security, stability, prosperity, and democracy in the Sahel. ECOWAS ministers met ahead of the summit to discuss the region's initiatives to combat money laundering and the importance of upholding democratic governance. Ensuring transition to civilian rule in the 4 countries of the region that are currently under military rule could top the agenda. The West African region has recorded more than 7 coups and attempted coups since 2020. Other areas of concern for the bloc is the worsening humanitarian situation in the region due to terrorism, climate change, boosting regional integration, among others. Ajit Mangut in Abuja, reporting for DD India.
At the ongoing United Nations climate talks in Dubai, COP28 President Sultan Al-Jaber told participating nations to speed up their work to find a final deal, saying there were currently more areas of divergence than agreement. Saudi Arabia and Russia were among several countries insisting that the conference focus only on reducing climate pollution and not on targeting the fossil fuels causing it, according to observers in the negotiations. On the other side, at least 80 countries, including the United States, the European Union, and many poor climate vulnerable nations, are demanding that a COP28 deal call clearly for an eventual end to fossil fuel use.
There is some positive movement at the political level, and we need to channel that energy into speeding up the technical work. That said, there are still more areas of divergence than agreement. The window is closing to close the gaps. We are making progress, but not fast enough and not satisfying enough. My message to parties this evening is very simple. Work faster, work smarter, work harder.
Island nations participating at COP28 called for stronger commitment to fossil fuel phase-out and renewable energy. Under the 2015 Paris Agreement on Climate Change Mitigation, countries aim to limit the rise in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees Celsius, the threshold scientists say would head off the worst impacts of warming. To meet that goal, scientists say the world needs to cut global emissions in half by 2030 and to net zero by 2050.
We will not go silently to our watery graves. Therefore, we cannot and will not accept an outcome from the COP that does not set us on a course for a future that stays within 1.5 temperature.
Meet Isuzu Sesi, the queen of plastic in Africa, leading the charge for environmental change. Known affectionately as the Queen of Plastic in Africa, she shared her remarkable journey and her mission to empower women while addressing pressing environmental concerns in the Gambia. She is the founder and chairperson of Women Initiative Gambia.
We have with us today in COP28, Isuzu Sesi. She is the founder and the chairperson of Women Initiative in Gambia. Over many years of her work, she has earned this sobriquet, the Queen of Plastic in Africa. Hello, Sisi.
Thank you very much. Hello.
What work you do in the Gambia which earned you this sobriquet, the Queen of Plastic?
Yeah, in Gambia, my work in Gambia is try to sensitize people about the plastic, the side effects of plastic. Make sure that people need, because I believe that people need to know what is the side effects of plastic, because in the Gambia, 75% of the Gambian people, they use plastic to light fire. And also you go to the dump site, you know, always it's just dump in one place, and what they will do is they will just, the scavengers, they will come and, you know, put everything in one place and burn it, and it's not good for our health. So that is why I set up the organization called Women Initiative Gambia, where we educate people about the side effects of plastic and what are the opportunities that they can get. When you looked at climate change, it has no border. So working with the communities and youths about plastic recycling, it takes us to when we recycle plastic and we look at the environment, it's kind of, you know, so vacant, there is no trees, it takes us to tree planting. So we work with schools and communities on how to transplant trees around them and protect them and take care of them. Because without trees, there is no life.
What are the lessons that the global community can take away from you, from your work based in Gambia?
Yeah, I think the global community, what they can take from us is they need to understand that the climate change that we are talking, the climate crisis that we are talking, it should be something that we work together as a team. One person cannot change the situation. We have to come together, but you can only be part of the situation, or you can only be participated to the problem if you know about it.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Emphasizing on the need for invention and innovation, Infosys founder N.R. Narayan Murthy praises national education policy, highlighting the need for a focus on primary and secondary education. Egypt witnesses the biggest polls on Sunday as the nation elects the next president with 4 candidates in race for the top post.
December 10th is observed as Human Rights Day.
On this day, we take stock of the human progress made so far, developmental process, and what are the challenges caused by that development process. We are living in the cyber age. Internet is useful, at the same time it is being used for commission the crimes. Child sexual abuse on the internet and bullying is very common.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. And Viksit Bharat campaign will be reaching out to the youth of nation by its another vertical of Viksit Bharat at 2047. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the youth and students on Monday through video conferencing.
What the Prime Minister is envisioning is that we should have a vision for Viksit Bharat, which should be coming out sometime end of January or so. But who are going to be the biggest drivers of Viksit Bharat? It's the youth of India. It's the students of India. And the students have to be reached, they should be mobilized, their views and their ideas sought. And I think tomorrow the Prime Minister is going to kick off a campaign to seek ideas from the youth for the vision of Viksit Bharat. It's three simple questions. How do you see India as Viksit Bharat in 2047?
India's Niti Aayog chairman stated that there is no country in the world which has a digital infrastructure of the scale as India's.
Look at the DPI and the expansion in DPI, digital public infrastructure. There is no country in the world which has something like UPI or Aadhaar on the scale which we have. Actually, World Bank and everybody is looking at India at its capabilities. So with infrastructure expansion, the speed of construction of highways, speed of construction of railway lines, it's something phenomenal.
While he further highlighted India's rapid expansion in the education and health sectors that indicate the country's rising capabilities.
The rapid expansion in terms of, we have got almost 1,200 universities, 2,000 autonomous colleges, more than 200 deemed universities, huge expansion in the educational infrastructure, IITs, IIMs, AIIMS, almost every state has one or two of them. Similarly, the health infrastructure has expanded, both in terms of what is available and also in terms of coverage. Ayushman Bharat provides the coverage, and it's providing coverage to 10 crore families. The health infrastructure is there, and India is actually now a leading supplier of generic medicines and vaccines around the world. We have demonstrated huge capabilities, and it is visible in our health indicator. IMR, MMR, all the health indicators have improved dramatically, and we are on the verge of actually now being comparable with developed nations.
He spoke about India's extraordinary achievement at the recent Asian Games with a tally of 100 medals and said that nation is now thinking of hosting the Olympics.
We have also demonstrated our capabilities. In the last decade or so, look at the transformation. We've just had Asian Games and we have won 100 medals. As a child, I've seen the 82 games in Delhi. That's when this stadium was built. We were very happy with 10 to 20 medals, and now we are talking of hundreds, and now we are thinking of hosting the Olympics. Olympics are also transformative moments. They are coming of age events. 1964, Japan held Olympic Games. Korea held Olympic Games later. Beijing has held its Olympic Games. So when you actually come of age and are recognized as a developed nation, you actually, and the Prime Minister said we will host the Olympic Games in the next decade.
Well, DD India correspondent Kriti Vadera joins us live from Delhi for more. Kriti, what are the primary objectives of the Viksit Bharat at 2047 initiative, and how does it plan to engage with the youth of the nation?
Siddharth, before we come to the Viksit Bharat at 2047, we have to understand that this Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra or the Viksit Bharat campaign is all about going to the grassroots level, to the masses of the nation, and getting them familiarized with the initiatives and the schemes of the government. And now it is the turn of the youth of the nation under which I would say that India is the youngest nation of the world, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has always believed in the power of youth. And India is on the verge of making history. See, we are the 5th largest economy of the world, and by 2027 will be the 3rd largest economy. And in last decade, we have seen major transformations. You name the sector, and India has been, making its mark on it, be it sports, getting more than 100 medals in recent Asian Games, then to the digital infrastructure. And if I talk about the education, recent establishment of IITs and IIMs, and if I talk about the global standing of India, in G20, we have marked it that the world is looking and seeking, and all this could be possible because of the comprehensive approach of the government. And now, under this Viksit Bharat campaign, about this 2047 to the youth, which is, the government is targeting, from tomorrow onwards, PM would be launching a campaign, getting suggestions from the youth of the nation. There'll be a video conferencing conclave for all the universities countrywide. Vice chancellors of the universities will be there, and PM will be addressing the major faculties, the prime faculties, and the vice chancellors. And it will be a month-long, suggestion campaign. Government is seeking replies from the youth of the nation, from students, with the ideas, with the how they want to see Viksit Bharat at 2047. So this is the new initiative of Viksit Bharat at 2047.
Okay, and Kriti, are there specific outcomes or goals the government hopes to achieve through this interaction with the youth?
Yes, of course. See, youth has always played a major role in history of this nation. So outcomes would certainly come up, but right now the government, what media has been told by this press conference of Niti Aayog, that it's going to be a month-long campaign getting these suggestions of the youth of the nation.
Kriti, what is the final agenda of this initiative? If you could just tell us something about it.
See, before inculcating all these ideas into, the mechanism, the government would of course, certainly look up to it. And it's a suggestion campaign which will be on from tomorrow onwards on government portal. That is what media has been informed as of now.
All right, Kriti, with that, thank you so much for joining in. Well, with a firm resolve to make India a developed nation by 2047, the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra van reached Dibrugarh district and Moregaon district of Indian state Assam. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is undertaken across the country to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the government by ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach all targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. Let's take a look at how the government flagship schemes change the lives of people in Assam.
The transformative journey of the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra continues, leaving its mark across various locales in Assam. The Yatra reached the Dibrugarh district of Indian state Assam. Additionally, another IC van reached Dighalbari Gaon Panchayat in Moregaon district. These IC campaign vans showcased a comprehensive overview of flagship schemes and programs spanning 9 years, drawing numerous beneficiaries who shared their perspectives on the government's initiatives.
We got home facilities, access to clean water, electricity facilities, access to clean lavatories, and many more.
Earlier, there used to be a lot of trouble due to heavy rains. But since we got access to furnished homes, things are very comfortable now.
Indian Minister Shri Rameshwar Teli, State Minister Shri Bimal Bora, and many other dignitaries graced the occasion to witness the Jan Bhagidari movement. Indian Minister Shri Rameshwar Teli ensured complete saturation of government schemes to all beneficiaries, to those who have not received the benefits of government schemes. The Viksit Bharat Yatra is a firm resolve by the government to ensure complete saturation of government schemes in every nook and corner of the country.
To make India a developed nation by 2047, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has launched the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, where almost all Gram Panchayats and each and every corner of India will be covered, different government schemes. With camera person Ajay Datta, Subina Roy, DD India.
The Indian Ministry of Textiles organized country's largest ever One Bharat Sari walkathon in Mumbai on Sunday. The Indian Minister of Textiles Piyush Goyal flagged off the walkathon that aims to promote handloom sari culture in India by inviting participation of women across the country to present India as a country of unity in diversity.
आज हमारी बहनों ने भारत का मान सम्मान बढ़ाया, भारत की जो एक अद्भुत विरासत है, अलग अलग प्रकार के साड़ियों में देश भर के भारत की विशेषताओं को आज इस मैराथन में, इस वॉकाथॉन में देखने को मिलता है। यही उत्साह भारत को विकसित भारत बनाएगा, यही हमारे विकसित भारत के एम्बेसडर्स हैं।
Now, as women from across the country in saris are participating in this walkathon, highlighting India's diversity and rich handloom culture, a participant shared her views on the event. Let's take a listen.
Different saris. We are wearing Pasi saris. Some are wearing Maharashtrian saris. Some are wearing Udupi saris, Odisha saris, all saris. But the main purpose of coming here is to show that we are united always. Languages or barriers are not for us.
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today unveiled a bronze statue of the father of India, Mahatma Gandhi. The ceremony was organised in Delhi by the Delhi State Unit of BJP, the ruling party in India, to honour the lower castes or Dalit community. Mahatma Gandhi had always championed for the rights of downtrodden Dalit community in his life. Mr. Singh also had lunch with hundreds of people who were fed on the occasion. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended greetings to South Korean President on completing 50 years of diplomatic relations. Taking to Twitter, PM Modi said, "We are celebrating 50 years of establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Republic of South Korea today. It's been a journey of mutual respect, shared values and growing partnerships. I extend warm wishes to President of Republic of Korea, Yoon Suk Yeol, and look forward to working closely with him to deepen and expand our special strategic partnership." Infosys founder N.R. Narayan Murthy has praised the Modi government's national education policy, emphasizing the need for a focus on fostering invention and innovation. Murthy emphasized the necessity for fostering a culture of invention and innovation to propel India's growth, highlighting the need for a comprehensive focus on primary and secondary education. He emphasized on the need for young individuals to generate innovative ideas to create jobs and reduce unemployment. Murthy also stressed the importance of training retired teachers to contribute to shaping the next generation and ensuring the country's continued progress. A latest IMF report says India is poised to remain the fastest growing economy. India's economy is projected to remain the fastest growing, with growth above 6% till 2028. It marks a stark contrast from 2013, when India was struggling economically. The IMF expects India to become the world's fourth largest economy by 2026 and the third largest by 2027. It also notes the importance of good economic decisions and leadership for sustained growth. India's relative economic size to China is also increasing, indicating its economic progress. Despite progress, there is still work to be done for India to reach its full potential. Polls have begun in Egypt's three-day presidential election, with results due to be announced on December 18. Incumbent President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is poised to secure a third term. For the first time, Egypt is witnessing four candidates in the race for presidency, turning it into one of the biggest elections so far. Sisi has won his first presidential election in 2014 and was re-elected in 2018. In 2019, constitutional amendments extended the presidential term to 6 years and exceptionally allowed Sisi to run for a third term. In a landmark move this time, Egypt took to allow all of its people to show support for the military-led transition. Well, the inaugural edition of Khelo India Para Games kicked off on Sunday in Delhi with the badminton sport. The event is set to witness a historic inauguration by Union Home Minister of India, Amit Shah, on December 11th, highlighting the government's commitment to promote para sports on a national scale. Fresh off a 4-1 series triumph at home, the Indian men's cricket team will be on the road to face South Africa in a 3-match T20 series starting Sunday. Indian batter Surya Kumar Yadav will continue to lead the side, which will be bolstered by the addition of Ravindra Jadeja. The T20 series will be followed by a 3-match ODI series and 2-match Test series. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.